Hi, I'm Ash from the Retro Gaming Blog. Retro gamer Rich Evans recently came by to see me and have a look at my new cabinet that I've got, and also help me with some of the things on it, because I'm relatively new to arcade cabinets, as some of you might already know, but he is quite knowledgeable, as far as I know anyway. I mean, he came by and he fixed a load of stuff, like he did a battery modification on it, he fixed the coin mech, and he even fixed the power at the back of the unit. So I'm going to show that in a separate video, but this video is all about Rich and his battery modification, which is probably why you're here. So let's take a look at it.
All right, so we're taking the the Neo Geo out. I like this cable tie arrangement. Luckily we've got some more feet, so I'm hoping we'll be able to get that sorted out. But I'm not sure because he's got these standoffs too, so take this off. Jam a connector. This should be the 7-segment displayer. Okay, I think it's just the one here that's got the strap, the earth strap. It's going to be a problem maybe. That is tight. These are done up and very tight. No. I'm worried I'm going to damage that screw. See, my ones, the feet stay on. Because now we've lost feet.
This is why I'm glad you said leave it, Ash, and
Oh, this one's turning. Bit worried it's gonna turn it a bit more and see if it might loosen it.
You like a challenge though, Rich.
Doesn't any engineer? It's not happening. I've got another idea. We might be able to take this off, take the board, separate the boards without undoing that, because we can take this off, and then we can try and take it off when we've got the boards apart. Yeah, they go through to the feet. There's pillars in between, and then there's feet on the bottom in the middle as well, just to support, because when you push the cartridges, you don't want to hold, the board's very big and heavy and it'll flex. If you flex PCBs, then chips start to ping off or damage or break solder joints. If you've got any surface mount, which I don't think this has, as well, it can damage the solder connections if you flex the PCB. Hopefully now, in fact, I think we can't take the top off because of that stupid thing. There we go. So if we just carefully rest that, and no, it's because of that pin, isn't it? Actually, if we just rest it off the edge just there, it'll be okay. It's resting on the connectors, and that's the bottom board. As you can see, it's very heavy, so it flexes even when you lift it. Can you see that? Just I mean, big PCBs like this, that's what happens. They're heavy. So this is the audio section here, and this is what on my one I've capped, or shotgunned, or whatever you want to call it. I've replaced all the electrolytic capacitors on mine because I had a terrible audio sound, audio issue when I first had it. It was really distorting and clipping. But funnily enough, the kit, I did every capacitor that it suggested in the kit, but it wasn't those. It was two others, and I think it's these 470. It's one of these 470 microfarad ones here. And because I had 3 kits, because I bought them from America, I just nicked a couple out of there, replaced them, and yeah, absolutely perfect. Sounds really good now. So, and this is the battery which we're going to be replacing. So some people say to remove it completely. This battery should recharge from it's got circuitry here to charge it, but obviously over time the battery degrades and then they start to leak onto the board, which this one looks okay, it doesn't look like it's leaked. So it's best to remove it, but you can't get the same part. And if you were to replace it with pretty much any other battery in here, the pins from the chips on the board above will puncture it. So You know, there's the problem. Some people say you could take the battery outside and put it on wires. That's another acceptable way. But what we're going to do is something that I devised for mine, which is using a battery and mount it underneath. There's actually a really good technique for getting rid of hot melt, but I can't do it because I haven't got the tool that I need. And the tool I need is a can of freezer spray. So if you freeze it, it becomes brittle and you can just snap it off. So as a tip for you, I'm going to try without scratching the PCB to just prise a little bit of this up. That's mostly coming off now. I think that'll be all right. We can get rid of the rest of this afterwards, as long as it's not going to hold the battery. So I'm going to flip the board over. There's a really nasty big pad covering that battery, which we're going to have to prise up, this is more of a pain than anything else. In fact, I don't know, did I have this on mine? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this is for. I don't think it's necessary. I don't know whether they were worried about something shorting out on the bottom or... But unfortunately, it doesn't peel off nicely. As long as I can get to the two pads for the battery, we'll be okay. And we'll leave the rest of it there, I think. I think mine did have this, and I think I actually just took the whole thing off and then cleaned off all of the... I used alcohol and cleaned off the residue of the black foam. In fact, what do you think, Ash? Should we... Have you got a pair of scissors?
I do, yes.
Yeah, I think we should cut this across and we can leave the rest of it there rather than take it all off. Managed to get most of that black gunk off. The next bit is to desolder the current battery. So firstly, I'm going to add some more solder, because this solder's old, to add some more flux basically. And this one here is ground, so it's going to be really, need a bit of heat on this one. Yeah, so we'll try and use this thing. It's not a very good one, this, but I've had it for years. Might be okay. Could do with one of those soldering, desoldering things. I think they're quite expensive. Maybe if I was to do more of this sort of work, I'd be looking to get one of those. But let's see how that works from the top. Yeah, we've still got some solder here. So what I might do is... Sorry, you're following me around here, but it's a big PCB, it's difficult to do. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add some solder to the top here, and I'm just going to pull the pin through the top of the PCB for this side, and then we'll just concentrate on the main ground one. So I'm just going to hold on to this, heat it up, and hopefully pull it out. There you go. A lot easier. We don't need this battery, so we don't really care what happens to it. And now, I think I may do it like this. Just heat up this ground and take it out. There's the battery. That's the old one. And yeah, I did search around. I'd read that you couldn't get, put some more solder back on the iron. I'd read that you couldn't get these batteries again, but I had a look, and no, you can't. You might be able to find some new old stock maybe, but whether it'd be any good, don't know. So what have we got here? We've got this is a 3.6 volt, 50 milliamp hour NiCad, and this is a 3.6 volt, 80 milliamp hour NiCad, which means that it will last longer. So it's a higher capacity, that one, but the voltage is the same, and it's a NiCad as well. Oh, sorry, it's nickel metal hydride rather, but it will work. It's fine.
Protective covering.
A protective covering, yeah. So I might just see if I can clean up these holes now that there's nothing in them. That's all right. Right, I think we'll just have to go with that, and I'll solder it in like I took the other one out. I'll actually heat it to put it in. So what I've been doing is bending the pins on this battery, because what we want, that's negative because that's the ground plane, and that's where there's a negative on the battery there, and there's a positive that side, and that goes in there. But obviously this is not a like-for-like part, so what we want to do is I've bent this out a little bit, we want that in there, and we want that in that hole. And then on the other side, these pins here, it's very difficult to bend that up if I can. These pins here are also the same positive side of the battery, which means that we can solder to those just to give a bit of extra sort of strain relief to the battery. Yeah, so we're going to solder that onto these pins here, and as long as it doesn't touch anything else, we'll be good. So that's how it's going to work. And then, as you see, that will be within the feet. Goodness me. Doesn't want to go through this hole.
It's kind of in there, isn't it?
It's going in, it's just not going through. And I think it's because there's solder in the hole. I mean, it'll be fine like that. It's definitely soldered. Maybe we just go with it like that. And there's that extra pin, and we're just going to sort of solder onto these two pins here, between the pins. It's, you know, it's obviously not designed for this, and that's why what we're doing looks a bit odd, but it will give it more strength mechanically in case it gets knocked for any reason. So it can only be a good thing. So I'm just going to put some solder on between these two pins. Just put solder on the battery. That wasn't very good. I'll have to get that off the board in a minute as well. I can see it there. I can see I can smell the burning of that horrible black foamy stuff. Yeah. I'm just trying to get it's trying to get it hot enough that the solder takes to this big piece of metal. I think that's okay. I think if we, yeah, that's now solid. Doesn't look so pretty, but let's get rid of that. Because it's sticking up through the hole. This one here, so that actually is coming through the hole the way it should be, and then we're just going to solder this onto there. Need to get it hot enough. There you go, and hopefully we're done. Let's look. It's rigid. It's not gonna come off. I did get another bit of solder on the bottom of that. Isn't that messy? Look at me. I'm trying to do a really good job, and I've made a right mess. But that's all good. 3.57 volts. That's good. 3.6 volts. And I think we'll sign it, shall we?
Oh, he signed it properly as well.
Retro Rich. There you go. You might want the lid for that.
I will. Awesome.
Cool.
Sterling job.
So now we've got to put it all back together again. When you put the PCBs back together again, they will only go one way. And the reason they'll only go one way is because the sockets here and here are along the edge of the board, and there's only one along this edge, and then the other one is at this angle. So you can only, it's only one way that this can go on. You can't do it wrong unless you're ham-fisted and you decide to break it. So yeah, actually that was already the right way round. No, it wasn't. That is correct. So we just want to line them up very carefully. Don't want to bend any pins or anything, so just get them lined up, and they should just sit into the sockets. Once we're happy that they're all in there, which I am, we can just slowly apply a bit of pressure at each of the corners, at each end of the connectors, and push them back together again. Got these back together now, and I'm just going to put the screws in the middle section. So these are lined up to the pillars underneath. It's very easy, because it's dirty, I can tell exactly where the screws went in. Very handy. There we go. And before I put the top back on, that's what I've done here, is I've actually already put the screws that I've got with spring washers and flat washers there together. I've got them lined up, so hopefully that'll save some time in a minute. So yeah, we're going to get the top, put it back on, just line it up carefully, don't want to damage anything. That's about right. Let's see, hopefully these screws and washers and things are not too long. I've got a horrible feeling they may be though. So we might be doing another take in a minute. Let's see. Right, well, it's taken up the slack on the spring washer. That's perfect. That'll do.
Question is, Rich, does it work?
Don't say that. Let's hope so, otherwise I'm going to become very unpopular very quickly.
No, you'll be fine.
So we can push this back gently, and it looks like it goes all nicely in there.
There's a slight bleed on the letters, which I hate, but like I said, I think that's convergence. There you go.
Metal Slug 2.
So that video was taken a few days ago. I did jest at the end there that, you know, maybe it wouldn't work. We didn't get to see in that video because we never looked at the service menu, but I've got the service menu here now, and this is a few days later, and you can see that the time is accurate, the date's accurate, so mission accomplished. The battery modification worked, and Rich did a great job. So if you like the video and you want to follow Rich, subscribe, leave a comment in the section. If you've got any questions for him, he'll be more than happy to help. This is Ash signing out.